Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we're here to discuss some wrestling. Hope all of you are having a great one. However you catch this, whenever you catch this. Now, very simple episode I have laid out for everyone. All right, this is going to be our episode for June 3rd, 2026, Dynamite. I had a very good time catching this product, but we do have some things to address in our weekly world report. In our weekly wrestling report. Now, very understandable gripes and criticisms coming from the back when it comes to Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. It's very interesting that I touched on Dominic Mysterio no less than 36 hours ago, and then no less than 50 hours ago, all right? No less than a good 50 or so hours ago. And lo and behold, 24 hours before this recording, a report hits the web pages. All right, it smashes through the internet windows. Internal conflicts on Dominic Mysterio's booking. Who's surprised by that? Dominic Mysterio, again, was one of the hottest things to come out of WrestleMania. He used to go out there on the weeks following WrestleMania and go, man, I'm not used to y'all cheering me. This shit's pretty crazy. Let's have a good match. And then the crowd literally chanted his name for like 3 minutes straight. He had such an amazing fucking walkway to just a really decent IC title run, right? And the IC title run was squandered. It was fucking squandered. He has this AAA belt. What is he doing with this AAA belt? Not a goddamn thing, folks. I'll tell you what he's doing in tonight's episode of SmackDown. That's right. Dami Chicken Nuggets on the blue brand is 1 out of 4 champions for this King of the Ring shit. Braun Breaker, champion. Damian Priest, champion. Trick and Dom. Do any of these people, or do any of these, collections or titles, do they have any interesting, really like jaw-dropping, real teeth-gritting kind of feuds connecting to them? Any of them? The United States title? What's up with the United States title? Oh yeah, a three-way belt. No, of course. Because hey man, 1v1 feuds, who does that benefit? Nobody benefits from 1v1 feuds anymore. That's a fucking fairy tale. It's make-believe. It's practically fucking Maybelline. All right, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time dealing with this company. And even in shit like Vikingo, bro, you couldn't just give us a best of 3 with Vikingo and Dom. Yes, they already had a very good match. I think it was sometime last year. I want to say maybe September sometime last year. They did have a good match, and that is how we got Dom to get this championship. But Dom has kind of just been riding the bench. I mean, let's be honest. Listen, if there is a cornucopia of wrestling that Dom has done in AAA that I'm just simply not privy to due to me being in the States, that's fine. I can accept that, right? Dom, when it comes to just himself, when it comes to building himself, when it comes to the future of his career, right, with this company, what have they exactly set up? They haven't really set anything up, and then I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just AAA focused right now. We're setting up Rey, we're setting up, all these other things. But I'm like, okay, but what is Rey Mysterio even doing right now? Dominic Mysterio had such a simple layup. Hey, I won the IC title. I'm gonna be a face for a little bit, right? Maybe that fucks up. Maybe it doesn't work, right? And maybe he goes back to being a heel full time until Rey retires. And then Dom, he picks up his mask in the middle of the ring. He walks to the back. 2 weeks later, some fucking jabroni in Dominic Mysterio inspired luchador gear is out here doing flips and 450s and shit. That's it's maybe one of the simplest stories you could write. Hero turned it's such a simple story. Villain turned hero. Hero turned villain. Villain turned redeemable hero. And then that's just where he is for the right. Hey, everyone loved Eddie. And it wasn't because they were booking him as this, this puppy kissing, baby hugging face. No, Eddie, and a lot of his pops, he cheated. He lied. He stole. And it was what it is. Bro, Dom can do so much. He can do so much, man. And he's not bad. in that ring, I will say, due to the reps that they're giving everyone without the house shows, without the massive production budget, that they once had, he is falling. He's a little rusty. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're not doing a lot with him. But even like cats like Chad Gable, man, like there was a time where Chad and Dominic could have had a very simple, very 1-2 feud with one another, and that got squandered. That got pissed on. So, I mean, if you want to talk about Liv Morgan, like everyone tying Liv Morgan to Dominic Mysterio instead of making Liv Morgan her own sole character, I mean, that's something I've complained about one too many goddamn times. Honestly, I feel like all I do is talk about how Liv Morgan gets fucking nothing. She gets fucking nothing. She repeatedly gets nothing, and now the creative is finally fed up with it. Good. Maybe this will be the wake-up call that you niggas need to get your act together. Honestly, maybe this would be it. TNA is in a bit of a heat wave right now. They had what's this guy's name? Mr. Elegance. I was about to call this nigga Lexus King. They had Mr. Elegance pin the TNA Knockout Women's Champion. Intergender match. Not a big fan of those. But this booking. I don't watch TNA. I don't indulge in TNA. I think we had a small little conversation about this in my last video. Decent talent, horrible fucking management, man. Horrible fucking management. And this is evident of it, right? There isn't a strong knockouts division in that locker room. I mean, I'm just happy that this wasn't fucking Kaylani, honestly. Like, if this was Kaylani, I probably would have shot somebody in Minecraft, obviously. There's nothing good. Nothing good about this TNA shit. I think what bothers me the most about the TNA booking is how simple, like, most of these shows, they can just be so fucking simple, man. It's like we do the silly shit, we do the over-exaggerated shit, we do the campy, over-the-top shit, and it's like, I don't know why. Like, there was a really simple segment. I keep using this word, right? Keep it simple, stupid. I'm not gonna hold y'all, right? It was AJ Francis and like Elijah, and he's like, hey, I copyrighted all your names and I own your masters now. You work for me. And it was stupid, but it was like, okay, this fits with the canon. Nobody's stuttering, nobody's stumbling on their words, so it's not like a horrible promo to sit through, right? It's like, it was very just 1-2. I feel like everything about this industry is so basic. And then they find a way to just fuck it up. How do you fuck up Dominic Mysterio's insane momentum? How do you do that? Let me tell you how you do that. You book him against a heel in Rusev for 6 weeks straight to split the crowd down the middle. Then you put him back on ice. And when it's time for him to really start stretching his legs to remind him that he's a wrestler and not just a fucking promo artist, you send him to Mexico, where a majority of your fan base will or cannot catch him live. Maybe a highlight here and there. Ooh, highlight. Man, if I'm Dominic Mysterio, man, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Everything after WrestleMania has been ice fucking cold. And I think that's no one else's fault but creative. Genuinely, that's no one else's fault but creative. They have to do something to where Dom and all these other role players, right, like an Austin Theory, like a Grayson Waller, right, at times like a Kofi Kingston, they should feel appreciated, without question, without doubt. But for some reason, I think it's easier for them to just kind of just do nothing. Just do nothing with anyone. Like, what's Raquel doing? What's Roxanne doing? What was Carlito doing before any of this? Nothing. But was he bad to, have as a piece of this group? No. You could argue that Carlito and R-Truth were damn near keeping this shit together. Damn near. Oh, man, this is bad, man. This is bad. Everything from Dom to TNA was just really fucking upsetting. It wasn't a good palate cleanser. But I will say that everything Dynamite put on was fairly good. Fairly good. I had a good time catching this product, especially opening with a world title defense. Again, I'm very big on a fighting champion that is building the brand. They're building the allure of this championship. They're not putting it in a fucking suitcase. They're not running off to go do Street Fighter, to fucking record some movie, to record some scenes, to shoot some scenes with their title in their big shiny little fucking suitcase. No, they're wrestling. They're here and they're present. That matters. It matters to me. Maybe it doesn't matter to everyone else. It fucking matters though. All right, and we gotta start acknowledging it. First match of the night, we get MJF, versus Roosh. All right, the Latin Bull. I think easily my most favorite part about this specific match is the character work. MJF is known to be a bit of a chicken shit, a sniveling little conniving heel, but he really does bring all of the fight he can to Roosh. Roosh, again, just style-wise, he does remind me of somebody. This might seem a little insane, but like the Ludwig version of Grande's Americano, right? Who is just very elegant, but who can deliver very stiff, very hard hits in that ring, on that canvas. And that's pretty much what Roosh gives. He does not win, no surprise there. But even in how he goes out, right? It's defiant. The AEW Twitter page put it perfectly. He died on his shield, right? He was defiant until the very end, putting up middle fingers. And listen, I really enjoy everything we get from both of these two. I think that, speaking long term, I think that this feud, if it is going to be something that we try to stretch out, maybe in a couple of months or so, I don't see that as a negative. I do not see that as a negative at all. I actually think that more Roosh in the not only world title, but maybe even some of the mid title card scenes would actually be a positive. Maybe if Roosh can't do this, maybe he thinks about going after Kevin Knight, because it's interesting. Roosh is kind of over, but for this booking, he is the face. There's no other real way around it, right? Because MJF is the king of the heels. I can see Roosh and Kevin Knight putting on a cool little program. I'll be honest though, I am still very much waiting for my Andrade and Mox match for that Continental Championship. Maybe I'll get Mox and Roosh too. Maybe. I don't know, because they've already locked up before. Hey, I don't really know. I would like for Roosh to kind of get the opportunity that he deserves. But I'll be honest, right? Like, Roosh is a very good in-ring competitor. I wouldn't say the chemistry, but I would say the pace that he moves out with MJF, I'm a very, very big fan of. And MJF winning was obviously the right choice. I'm just curious about where Roosh goes after this. Set up Mark Briscoe and Lio Rush. MJF is down there. He's ready to hit Roosh with the special ring. I think it's the ring of the chair, one of the two. Mark Briscoe makes the big save that leads into the conglomeration. The conglomeration kind of join him more or less. They come down with him, and as they're walking up the ramp, right, Lio Rush comes down, and there's a pretty funny spot where they literally treat this shit like until dawn. Where it's like they hold their breath and they try not to move. Pretty funny, pretty funny. I like this entire gimmick from Lio Rush. Like the entire Black Heart identity. I think it's actually going over very, very well with the crowd. It's over with me, and that's all that really matters, right? Now, I'll be frank, I do not know if we'll ever get like a mid-card, I don't know exactly where push can come from this character, but realistically, you put Lio Rush against a couple of jabronis, or maybe just like your most, your best laced guy from ROH, you got a pretty good fucking match on your hands for a normal Collision or a Dynamite. So anything that Lio Rush does moving forward after this, I'm going to be a very, very big fan of. This match was very good. I had a fun time with it. Mark Briscoe selling the idea of the Black Heart. I think, everyone playing their part when it comes into selling this character. Very, very, very good work. Mark Briscoe ends up going over, no surprise there, and he cuts a very good segment on MJF. Yeah. Basically saying that MJF, you might call yourself the devil, but I have Child of God tatted on my body, and I don't know if you read that book, but MJF, devil, you lose. I want my title shot. I don't think that Mark Briscoe will win against MJF. I know it'll be a very, very good match, though. I misspoke. Apparently, last time they laced up, Mark Briscoe went over. I could have sworn he went under, but whatever. Mark Briscoe versus MJF, very good match on paper. That very solid chemistry. I'm even excited to see like what MJF brings to the table, right? Because during that Hangman match, he had the Terry Funk gear. During the Roosh match, he dressed up as a matador, right? So I don't know where MJF can go for this Mark Briscoe bag. I do not think that there'll be any blades. Maybe like an unintentional blade. Maybe, but I don't know. I think they've kind of already expended that card of like bloody Briscoe and bloody MJF in the same ring together. They might run it back. Hangman and Swerve did that how many times? But I don't know. I think this is going to be a bit quicker, a bit easier to digest. And I definitely think that Mark Briscoe he plants his feet and he makes it known, I'm not the nigga to fuck with. And I think that's good. That's good for him. It's definitely solid for the conglomeration as a whole also. Showing they don't got no scrubs in their ranks. I think that's solid. Very good match and very, very good promo from Mark Briscoe. We have a very, very nice promo from Thekla. She is flanked by she is flanked by the 2/3 of the Triangle of Madness, and basically she's putting over Sky Blue and Julia Hart, saying, hey, Julia Hart's gonna pick up her title, Sky Blue's gonna pick up that Owens title, and I'm gonna stay the biggest, most dangerous bitch in this locker room. Thekla's great. Thekla cuts an amazing promo. She has like this kayfabe beef with like Japan and Stardom. I'm a fan of it. I'm actually like a really, really big fan of it, especially when you think of how like close some of these like acts genuinely are. This is probably just like Seth Rollins tagging like Moxley on Twitter or some shit. Listen, I can imagine everyone is having a very, very good time. There's even like a fake render going around of the general manager of Stardom versus Declan, like a no disqualification. Listen, this is fun. It was very cool. I'm not gonna lie, the talent in those Stardom and in those TJ PW locker rooms are fucking outstanding. They are fucking outstanding. I mean, hell, we brought in Alex Winsdorf from Eve how long ago? And she's been doing nothing but amazing shit. She actually has a match tonight. So, I mean, hey, listen, there's a lot of good shit about this night. And Thekla, of course, she's one of them. She spits on the Stardom sign. I have never wanted to be a Stardom sign so badly in my fucking life. But neither here nor there. We're going to be moving on to our next segment. And we're also going to be setting up, hypothetically, Athena versus Suru? Athena versus Sai Uru. I think that's her name. Suru or Sai Uru at ROH. And that was a little promo that we got, which I actually thought was pretty cool. Match on the card, like next match on the card that we will be discussing is Kevin Knight, the Kinetic One, versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Man, where do we start here? I like everything that Kevin Knight is doing. I want to touch on briefly the Don Callis family, because as all of you know, Kevin Knight is now currently a part of the Don Callis Avengers. My real thoughts on that, they only kind of stem from just a place of curiosity. I would like to know exactly what Kevin Knight seeks to accomplish. In the whole like 2-belt Kevin, I don't know. Maybe it's me being a little cynical, but if I'm like really trying to like hammer this shit down, right? Kevin Knight, he already has a mid-card belt. To be honest, him and the Porno Star and Kyle Fletcher, they should have like some real beef, like some real life beef about that belt. At the moment they kind of don't. Kind of interesting. And even with like people in that group like a Mark Davis, right? Mark Davis, he already has a belt. He already has a strap. Why the fuck is he the Owen Hart champion? Like why? Listen, I gotta hold my agendas accountable, right? I do not believe that a nigga with a belt, a nigga with a strap should be going after another strap. It's a little unethical. The unethical graps. I'm sorry. There are unethical graps, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other way to cut it. The match between Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, though, aside from the the Don Callis looming, in the aftermath of this, it was actually very good. Very, like, honestly, fucking amazing match. Maybe match of the night for me personally. A lot of people liked that main event. A lot of people rocked with that match with Alex Windsor. We will not be spoiling who she's going up against, but that was man. Like, I'm looking back, like I'm really thinking about it. This match was almost perfect. This match was damn near perfect. I mean, like Speedball Mike Bailey's agility, matching Kevin Knight's placement and timing. It's crisp. It's a very crisp pairing, and I definitely think that the overall story with these two, it could culminate in something very Naruto and Sasuke-esque. I don't think that's a horrible idea. I wouldn't hate that. I would like on the surface, for Kevin Knight to maybe want a little bit more than like revenge or anything like that, because it's not like, oh, I lost the belt to XY and now I got to be evil. It's like, no, you're kind of like one of the most beloved guys, one of the most appreciated young stars, and you already have a belt, so why are you angry? What the fuck is he so angry about? But listen, him saying that, Darby Allin let everyone down, and he let the fans down, and all this other stuff, and he's just, trying to make everyone else, like, what it is? It's like gaslighting. He's trying to gaslight all of you. He's like, what? All of you are happy that Darby lost? And they're all like, I mean, yeah, sure. Well, you're fucking stupid. You don't know anything about wrestling. Listen, man, Kevin Knight has definitely been working on his heel promos. They've been good. They've been solid. I even said, like, when he called out Darby, like, after that Speedball Mike Bailey match with Darby Allin, I was like, you being out here is kind of interesting. Because it kind of seems like you just waiting for shit to pop off. Like, literally, it was like, hey, man, hey, keep shit P. Yo, hey, you better keep shit P, Darby. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking to Darby like that? Who the fuck is talking to Darby like that? Listen, Kevin Knight's heel gimmick, along with Speedball Mike Bailey trying to, take him back to the, to the side of the light side. You're supposed to bring balance to the Force. You're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. My bad, chat. My bad. Listen, bro. Everything about this shit was hot. I'm not gonna lie. Everything about this shit was fucking fire. There was an avalanche, pump handle slam. I nutted. I came. Like, there's nothing else to really sugarcoat here. Great fucking match. Speedball Mike Bailey does eventually end up eating the pin. But, in my humble opinion, I feel like he goes over and losing. Like, there are a couple of moments where it's like, oh, this nigga's your next national champion. That's who you put up against Mark Davis in the best of three. Him, right there. And then maybe, genuinely, if you want to do like this whole, full circle kind of thing, maybe Speedball Mike Bailey goes over to the dark side.
And now it's just Dark Jet Speed versus maybe the Luchasaurus versus the Young Bucks.
8-man tag with Jet Speed and fucking FTR. I don't know what they're gonna go with this, but there's definitely a lot of moving pieces, and again, just due to the story here with the Don Callis family, with Jet Speed, with the heel turns, with the tag division itself, a lot of strings, and I definitely think that they are all divided, and they are all categorized very properly, in my humble opinion. Next little thing that we will be discussing is the Dogs. All right, what the Dog doing? They pulled up on the Young Bucks for a nice little promo. I'll be honest with all of you, David Finlay, that's enough for me. Hey, David Finlay, match is sold. The match is sold. Take me over there, all right? Get my plane ticket immediately. And then I also have to take accountability Clark Connors. Then I flip all that on his head and I throw the Young Bucks on top of it with Matt and Nick Jackson. This is a good promo, solid match on the way. Maybe even like damn near 4-star match on the way. I don't know exactly what the end goal is here. Maybe it's like a first contendership, maybe, but I even think about the Hurt Syndicate, right? Like, where's the Hurt Syndicate been, right? That is a part of this tag division I think genuinely fucking matters. But again, humble opinion, me to be the humble servant of the people. Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, they have a really quick back and forth with the Dogs. The Dogs pull out some malt 40s, going about their night, and that's pretty much how we set this up. We also have to remember that the Dogs have also beefed with Cope and Christian, in the past 20 or so days. So realistically, we might get Bucks and Cope and Christian. A three-way tag team bout, maybe. Maybe. Hey chat, nothing is impossible. Okay, nothing is impossible. All right, next match of the night that we will be discussing, probably one of the bigger moments of the night. Alex Windsor has a special wild card secret opponent. I think you all know who it is.
New York City, you listen to me. If you're near a convenience store right now, any type of 24-hour store, go into the store right now and put your hand in the cash register for no reason. Their money is your money as of right now.
The CEO. And I am the greatest TBS champion of all time.
Mercedes!
Look at CEO, my fucking demon, my GOAT, Dorchester's best wrestler is back in the ring. I'm so fucking happy that Mercedes Moné is back in this women's division. A lot of people are, flapping their gums, to type in their little greasy little fat American fingers on their phones, complaining that Mercedes Moné gutted and ruined the women's division. May I remind you niggas that Britt Baker existed? Hey, where's Athena on AEW television? Sparingly. You could blame that on maybe Tony Khan instead of Mercedes. But no. Let's put all the blame on one of the best wrestlers on the face of this planet right now. Now, Mercedes Moné, she has a surprise entrance. The crowd pops. Hey, man, I know what you want. That's star power. Star power, baby. She's a heel. She's been a heel for at least a year and a half. Bro, it's so fucking cool because even in situations like MJF and Darby Allin when they were in New York, New York, right? For Double or Nothing, MJF just tried to took all the steps to be a heel. Mercedes Moné puts away this fucking match with her, that's not an arm bar, it's something like that. It's very reminiscent of the move that Daniel Bryanson uses. Hey, I'm not a fucking, a wrestling, aficionado, right? Bro, she applies this move. Winslow, this is a great match, by the way. Very, very good match. Very obvious. Second Mercedes came out who's going to win this, right? Progressing in the women's own heart tournament, right? But the second she applies this move and the bell's ringed, she keeps the move on to get more heat because she's so over. She's so fucking over. Oh my gosh, bro. Yo, Mercedes Moné, your smoke is so tough. Your game is so tough. All right, listen. All the bad bitches, like, you got all the money, all right, your money stacked to the ceiling, you got 24 inches on your chrome, bro. Her game is so tough. She comes out with this like Sailor Moon inspired gear. I had to be educated on that. Even just like her presentation, she looks like, in the most respectful way possible, that she's, bulked up a bit. Like she's got, she's entering more like middleweight than lightweight or light middleweight. Listen, again, I'm not a fucking aficionado on this, but I am super impressed with this match. Super impressed with Mercedes. There was like a shade, a very small shade of ring rust, but I mean, performing in front of a live crowd, anticipating, your quote unquote partner. It is a tango. Anticipating their next move. It's not always gonna be like so, crisp and as clean as everyone would like it. I mean, hell, you could even look at the SmackDown that we're gonna be getting to. A lot of shit there from niggas who have been in the industry for what, 5-6 years.
is. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Some things are a little bit more important than others. But listen, very, very, very good match for Mercedes Moné, and I'm honestly very pleased with Alex Windsor. I think Alex Windsor kind of went out there and she, all due respect to Jamie Hayter, and maybe this is a coincidence, but she kind of played the Jamie Hayter role, right? When she went out there against Thekla, I believe maybe that was. I want to say maybe that was Dynasty. It was one of those cards where she went up against Thekla, and it was an amazing effort. An amazing effort. A little predictable, again, because Thekla is fucking amazing. Thekla's great. But the match quality that Jamie Hayter put on, it made you think for a second, oh, they're gonna pull that trigger. They're gonna pull the trigger. They're gonna do it and just maybe put it right back on Thekla, but they're gonna really do this shit with Jamie. I'm not gonna lie, for a second, I didn't believe that Alex Windsor would go over on a returning Mercedes Moné, but she definitely played her part. Alex Windsor played the part of somebody who would not go down without a fight, and I liked it. I really liked it. Our next match on the card is going to be Mark Davis versus William Ospreay. The good thing about Will Ospreay is that he spends most of his time on the internet, so anything you say towards or about him will most likely be right about him. He's kind of like Nicki Minaj in those aspects. Will Ospreay, he's seen all the chatter online about this match, and so did Ricochet. And to put it simply, they said that AEW is just built different. Your bricks is made out of shit, in a haystack, and our bricks are made out of iron and copper, and that's kind of just how things are over here. It's pretty much what the fuck they said. I know bricks are normally made out of clay. Don't be a fucking hard ass with this analogy, okay? Will Ospreay, Mark Davis, not only do they have history, but the chemistry that they have in that ring, undeniable, no question about it. I enjoy, again, Mark Davis, everything that he brings as a big man. I've been a fan of Mark Davis ever since he stepped into that ring, not only with Jack Doyle many moons ago, but his 1v match with Moxley shattered his fucking hand again. Thank you to the wrestling gods for that. That led him down this path of being the most resilient, most badass motherfucker in that Don Callis family, and it's been selling. It's been working. I don't think anyone can deny the effort that Mark Davis puts into all of his his strong man showings. Like, he did some it's very simple. It wasn't anything like insane. It was a triangle chokehold from William Ospreay, right? He lifts him up, and it's so insane. I don't know what he like shifts his body or like steps back a little bit, but the second Ospreay lands, I'm like, fuck, man. It looked like he broke his neck. Looked like he broke his fucking neck, and honestly, that powerbomb looked more like hard. Like, that looked a little bit more like a little more cringeworthy than the pile driver that finished up this match. There was only about like one blade cutter used his new finisher to put away this match, but Ospreay looked great. Good 4-star, solid 4-star from from the Davester. I can definitely also acknowledge the match. The ending was a tad shaky, but again, the ref came back to life. We didn't have to pull a WrestleMania. What was that? WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania like 35 or something, where bro like ran all the way from fucking Gorilla, like a solid 30-foot sprint. He's like 50-foot sprint. It wasn't anything like that. It definitely left you on the edge of your seat though, and I think that's good. That's a positive for these shows. And again, I'm a very big fan of everything that the Death Riders have been putting together. So, all in all, this is very good Dynamite. Very good Dynamite. I do wish that we got just a little bit more from our women's division, but honestly, like, it's not not without noticing women like Sheeta, right? People in that locker room, again, like a Sky Blue, like a Julia Hart, who go out of their way to, in any kind of crevice that they can, make the minutes matter. And I think that's all you can do for some of these shows, honestly. That was pretty much everything that I for Dynamite June 3rd. That was officially everything that I had for Dynamite June 3rd, 2026. I am very much looking forward to the SmackDown video. I think all of you are going to have a very good time with it. Trust me. I think all of you are going to have a very good time with it. Trust you, me. And as I always say, I have a lot of other things in store. So, hope you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.